Hi everybody, Debbie from Simply Special, and we're about to get started with our stamping class of the day. I hope you have your kits. If you don't have them, that's okay. You can just follow along with us today, watch what we're up to, and then decide if you'd like to pick one of those up. We're going to do some beautiful Christmas cards today, so I am happy to have you with us. And can we adjust that screen before he gets away? Somebody gets away. We need to adjust that screen so I can see the chat comments. Maybe that will happen when you take off the welcome to the classroom. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not quite there yet. I was in Go Live and it blows up that deer screen for me, and so now I can get in there and do that.
Okay, we'll get started here in just a minute, guys.
Where is my chats?
Don't think I need any green.
Where is it?
Hello, Alice.
There we go.
How are you, friend? Thanks. I'm glad to be done with my taxes. Now I can come back to being somewhat human. It may be a small crew today since we haven't been running live, so it may just be us. I'm glad you're out there to talk to me, Alice. Hopefully some of our other folks will tune in soon, but you never know. It might just be us. Okay, and the little inset screen seems to be frozen, at least in that picture.
Yeah, give me a second, Debbie. Okay, we will have video now.
Oh, that's green.
Wow. Well, that's lovely.
And the inset's still frozen.
It's working on my phone. This is weird. Sorry, guys. You're live.
Yay! Now we have
so
a screen and
from the
everything,
side.
but I still don't have chat. I can't see Alice there.
Okay, well, you're going to have to wait just a second because I'm trying to unlock, but you can go ahead and start, and I'll get
Okay.
the chat going.
All right. Let's go ahead and take a look while we're still managing all the optics here at what's in our kit for this week. I think I mentioned in my posting that it is a particularly rich kit this week. We have an amazing assortment. I put in 2 Hunkydory stamp sets. You get the FTLS for the love of stamps 317, which is called Snow Much Fun. And you also get FTLS 316, which is a Jolly Christmas. So you get both of those stamp sets this week. You get a pretty cutout of a deer that we're going to use on our card today, but you're also getting the base from which we cut that deer, and this will work as a stencil for making additional cards. You get
That's what we do.
a large circle that we're going to use on making one of our cards, and you get a smaller circle, which is going to be our moon. It's masked for our moon. You get
Can I see it?
Rainbow Mirri. You get Stamping Card. Hello, Betty McSorley and Susan Lowe. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have our Stamping Card. You get 4 or 5 or 6 sheets of that. I'm not sure. Quite a few sheets of that. You get some black Mirri. You get some black card. You get more black card. You get card bases. You get envelopes. And you get some acetate. And then, as if that weren't enough in this week's kit, you also get a full bottle of Nuvo Mica spray. Now, we've had some problems with these Mica sprays jamming after we've used them a time or two. So in the kits, I actually included a replacement sprayer that you can pour your Mica spray into. And this is together, there's no reason why you shouldn't be highly successful in spraying your spritzer. And then just for fun, I included a bottle of Stickles too. So how's that for a rich kit for this week? I can tell you that the markup is not huge on this kit. You're getting an amazing deal on this. But I just thought since we've been away and we're starting back up that I wanted to offer you something especially great. So this is a great kit this week. We have a lot to do, so without further ado, let's whip right in and get started in our first class. Hello, Mary Robertson. I was worried. I wasn't sure. Lori Dodge, hello, hello. I wasn't sure how many people would join us this week. I'm so glad to see you guys out there. Thank you for stopping in. Avis, hey, hi. We're getting a good crew. You guys are the best. You know what? I take off and go work on my taxes and get grumpy for a couple weeks, and when I come back, here you are. Everybody's here, all of my friends. So thank you, my crafty friends. Let's get our stamp platforms out. Let's get going. Let's see, what do I want to make first? I just want to, since I've kind of been away from it, I think I just want to play with backgrounds a little bit here, if you guys don't mind indulging me while we are getting started here. I'll show you a little bit about what we're doing. Now, I promised you that we were going to do Lavinia style backgrounds. This is kind of what I had in mind, guys. Obviously, Lavinia is a very specific company, and it's really a trademarked name. All I'm saying when I'm saying Lavinia style is that you know how they do those beautiful background cardstocks with the moon and the faded colors around them. That's kind of what I want to practice on today and just kind of get going with that. So we're going to get out. I'm going to get a little mask out here. I'm going to get a piece of my temporary tape, which I had here in my hand, and now I have in my hand again.
I thought we put the tape there.
Margie got all set up for me, but that doesn't save me from myself. I can still manage to lose stuff. So I'm going to set my mask aside for just a minute. I'm going to get my designated yellow sponge out here. Remember that we like to use a designated sponge for super light colors like the yellow. I'm gonna, I do need a piece of paper that's just a scratch paper, Margie, that I can pounce off on.
It's okay.
What's that work?
Here.
This'll work.
Okay.
Leftover piece of cardstock here from a different project. So we're going to get a generous amount of ink on our sponge, then we're going to tap it just a time or two and get rid of the really concentrated ink there. We're going to start in a we're holding our sponge softly, we're not pressing hard, and we're just kind of building that yellow out, just like we did in the Savannah cards that we did. Those were great fun to do, weren't they? I enjoyed that. I hope you did. I think they're stunning, those cards that we made. Now, I've created that yellow, and what I'm going to do to make my moon is I'm going to take my mask and put over the yellow, and then I'm going to start working out from that yellow. So I'm still maybe going to use some of this yellow, so I'm going to keep my designated yellow handy, and I'm going to take some of my other colors, and I'm going to start working out from there. I have a blue sponge here that had some pretty dark on it, so I think it's going to be okay though. Okay. Take my blue, pounce it off just a little bit, and now I'm going to hold my mask in place even though I've got it taped. I'm going to hold it just a little and start working my way around that mask. Can you guys see okay? Everything all right? And the camera's good? And huh?
Go to the left. Move your paper over to the left.
This way?
Yep.
Oh, good. That's better anyway for me, so I like that. Okay, I'm going to peel this up just to show you what we're getting, because it's pretty amazing. Right off the bat, looky there. Look at a little bit that came underneath. But look, there's our moon. How easy is that, guys? So now we're going to just start building our color out from there. And I can replace my mask and put it right back where it was. And we're making Christmassy scenes. And we're making scenes with the moon. So we're going to want this to get a little darker. So I'm going to bring in some other colors. I think I'll bring in I'm going to actually bring in this lavender color, and I'm going to kind of mix the lavender a little bit into my blue, and then I'm going to bring in some of my darker colors. So I think I'll take my blue out just a little further.
Lori is really liking this one kit. She says this one is beautiful. Love it.
Which one? This?
Lori. She likes the kit.
Oh,
just
good.
in general, looking at the different ways
Great.
to make it work.
Okay. I like the idea of being able to design my own backgrounds for things. Now, my sponge is kind of being a little bit flaky. That's okay, I'm a little flaky too, especially after working on taxes. I gotta say, guys, it's taken me a while to come back. So if I act a little crazier than normal, blame the IRS. I've grabbed some of my mauve moment. Before that, I was using my periwinkle or whatever your lighter blue color is. And now I'm bringing my mauve moment in. And look what that's doing by running that mauve color, which is really a little bit more lavender than mauve. I disagree with their naming conventions there. But look what's happening with our colors as we're running that mauve over the blue. It's beginning to kind of transition into a purple. Let's go ahead. I'm going to take my blue out a little further. I'm not necessarily going to take the mauve off because I kind of like that blended color. I'm going to continue to bring this out, and then I'm going to lay down some darker colors over the top. And my whole objective here is to create the sky. I think the one we'll go ahead and do, although I've put my moon in a different place, let's do this one. Let's do this card. I think we can go ahead and use what I've got here to move forward and do this card. So I'm going to, I wasn't sure if I was just creating one to kind of get back into the spirit of things or if we were actually going to use it, but I like the way my colors are laying down, so we might as well use it for something, right? Okay, I'm going to, I think, cap my mauve and my blue for now, my light blue, And I'm going to bring up some of the nautical blue. Now it's going to be important with the nautical especially that you're pouncing this off. It's good to get a fair amount of ink on it, but we don't want to lay our sponge down and get these really defined circles, which is why pouncing it off is important. And then use a very light hand when you start working your ink out from there. Use a light stroke, and we'll avoid getting super dark marks on our card. See how it's kind of transitioning into a little darker color? Nice. Nice, nice. It's actually still fairly light. I probably still had a lot of the light ink in my blender. But I'm pouncing this off just a little bit, taking the really deep colors off. And
can you do me a favor and show again what you just did with your
my pouncer?
pounce? Yeah.
That was I off camera when I did it.
That. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to do it again here in 1 second. So yeah, I'll do it for you.
That's why I
just for
did
you,
that
Margie,
way.
because you know how I like to please you. Oh boy. Why does she put up with me? Why do they put up with me? I don't know. I don't know. So I'm getting a good amount of ink on my blender sponge, but then I'm going to pounce it off a little. I want to make sure that I don't get these really defined circles. So I'm kind of just tapping it a little bit.
And you took and rubbed around the edge.
I
like
did.
In a line.
I did, because sometimes since these sponges here, these Nuvos, are kind of rounded on the ends, it's easy to end up having a lot of extra ink built up around that edge, and you still get a really defined edge off there. So I actually kind of roll it a little bit too. Okay, and then when I have just inked it, I'm going to use a real light hand, and especially where I first lay it down, and then I can start pushing harder as the ink is wearing off of there. I can go a little harder with it. See that? Now I think it's time to get some more purple going in here. We got a lot of blue, and I think it's time we get some more purple. What do you think of the background and the way it's laying down, guys? You like that?
It's coming out really pretty.
But I think we want some more pink purple kind of looks in this to get a real, festive winter sky.
And you gotta put purple on everything.
And I have to have purple on everything. You are absolutely correct, Margie. That's why I love you. You understand me. And that's not easy, guys. It's not easy to understand me. Oh, I'm going to have to be extra crazy today because I've been altogether too serious for a couple weeks now, and that's not like me. It's just not like me. Now look what happens when we start getting some of that purple in there. Oh my gosh, that's pretty. See the purple? Just the way it's changing the dynamics of the blue. I may go up. I want you to see what I'm working on. See how I kind of have this blue stripe here that it actually kind of really does look cloudy, but I'm going to come into that with a little bit of my purple and kind of soften that out a little bit. Pouncing off the extra because I don't want to just come in real dark. And I'm going to kind of smooth that out a little bit. Now normally I do all circles, but when you're doing a sky, it can be advantageous when you're trying to kind of get that more cloudy look to do a few pulls across that are kind of horizontal too. Okay, and now I really, really like the look of it when you get some purple down in this background. Look behind our snowman. Look how much purple I have in here around the snowman. I love that. And I want more of that. So I am going to bring some purple down into that corner and maybe even more of my mauve color.
Mary's absolutely right. It helps, that purple helps highlight it. You can, it balances out the blue.
It really does. Warms it. I think it warms the blue a little bit. Okay. Now, we're going to get messy. As if we don't get messy enough, right? When I tell you we're going to get messy, you guys have learned to know that really means we're going to get messy, right? Do we have a box, Margie?
We do. We have a box where all the
A
goodies
box,
are
a
in.
paper bag, anything
save
that I can spray towards. Because we want to get some glimmer, I think, into this background, don't you think? I think we need some glimmer, although this is absolutely gorgeous. And look, let's peel this mask. Look what we've got going there. That is truly, truly beautiful.
I am truly, truly sorry. I put your box somewhere.
Okay, well,
I had saved it for you.
we are going to put the garbage can up here, and I'm going to spray towards that. Oh, okay.
I found it.
Okay. Oh, maybe the garbage can goes back off the table. It's not a bad idea, guys, to have a spritzing box available, because as careful as you try to be to spritz this gently and contain your mess, the spritzer goes everywhere. Just know that. I'm going to tape this up a little bit so that I'm not as apt to go over the top and get my projects and my microphone and everything I've got behind here. Does this sound like the voice of experience? Yes. It is the voice of experience, but a cardboard box will go a long ways towards containing the mess. So I'll tip it up here and show you what I'm doing here as soon as I get my flaps tied in a little bit. Oops. Although this removable tape is not great for containing these flaps, it goes, oh, okay, am I supposed to let go of that? Yeah, I'll let go.
Do you want better tape?
Yeah, I've got
for
scotch tape right there, Margie. Let's have some of that. Here, there's some on the table, babe.
Oh.
Just
that's
out of
scotch
reach.
Sorry.
Thank
sorry.
you. Okay. All this time to do surgery on my box, but it will be worth it when I don't totally destroy my work area this time. And yes, I have totally destroyed my work area before. It happens every time I do this process. But it's a good enough process to be worth the mess. Okay, all I want is just to make sure these flaps stay up and that I'm kind of blocking the ability of my mist to disappear.
Perfect.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, I can't, the camera with my picture is right in the middle of my camera of the screen, so I can't see what I'm doing on camera. But as long as you guys can, that's okay. I take my spritzer. I have moved some of my material from this bottle to this bottle. When you move it, before you move it, shake it up good because there's a mica powder in this spritzer. But mine stopped working. So, again, that's why I had Brittany include a spritzer bottle right for you in your kit. And the first thing I'm going to do is kind of get my spritzer moving a little bit. I don't want my very first spray to be at my card. And now I'm just going to spritz it just a bit. Go light. Stay a little bit back from it when you're first doing it. Let's pull that out and see how that looks.
Mary wants to know, Debbie, if you will put the names of the colors of inks that you've used.
Yes.
So then that way she can purchase them because she
Yes.
doesn't have all these colors.
Well, let me repeat them for you here. And that way, when I go to do the newsletter, I'll remember too. May I please have some baby wipes? I don't see baby wipes right here. The colors I have used to this point, Mary, have been the canary yellow. I've used the mauve moment. I've used nautical blue, periwinkle blue, and purple velvet. Those are the colors I've used to this point on this topper. Now, I'm going to take one of my baby wipes, and I don't want to wipe my spritzer off, but I do want to contain any big spray blobs. Although I will say you can get some really beautiful effects on your card. I'm going to show you this because you really can just with your baby wipe because it's damp. You can lift a little of your color, moving around, giving it a slightly mottled look, which is beautiful. And I'm doing that now so I can show you. It's still going to be beautiful and shiny and glittery, but see the kind of mottled look that we're getting in here by lifting some of that ink off. Isn't that pretty? You can do the same thing, guys, when you, if you spritz it with a little bit of water in a fine mist sprayer. You can spritz it with water and then just take a dry cloth. Don't rub it, just dab. And it will pick up some of it and it will give you, if you want kind of snow effects, if you want kind of this graininess, you can get that by spritzing it with water. Isn't that cool? So, I'm liking the way that's looking a lot. I'm trying to decide if I want more of my spritzer.
Correct me if I think that the French Navy is interchangeable with the nautical blue.
Yes.
Because currently we have French Navy, but we do not have nautical blue and stuff.
The French Navy is what I gave to people when we ran out of the nautical blue. Although we should have, did we get more of the replacement inks in yet, or are they in the big palette that's coming?
Yes.
Within the next few days, guys, let me give you an update on Crafty Friend, so while we're at it. I will be nice.
To open that one.
I have been in constant communication with FedEx, and I don't use that word lightly. I'm going to put this back in, and I want it to be a little sparklier, so I'm going to put this back in. Can you see that?
Yes, sort of.
Sort of.
There you go.
And I'm going to give it another spritz from my spritzer while we're talking, which will keep me from getting too wound out about FedEx. Spray it in a different space first. Get rid of any of the big spritzes that want to come out. And very gently and lightly, again, hold it back a bit, spritz. Pull it back out, and now you'll be able to see that we can get rid of that for a while. I have some kind of blobs. The blobs aren't bad. I actually like the darker spaces, but I'm going to pick up some of the biggest ones with my cloth. And what I should have now, when this dries, this is going to be beautifully sparkly. And I love that.
I love mica powder.
Our Crafty Friend kits are in the United States. They are in Seattle, where they came in on a big plane and got unloaded, and then FedEx got their chance to do their work. And FedEx, if you're listening, I'm not happy right now. For 7 days now, I have been answering a daily email from FedEx with an additional question and an additional question and an additional question. And they have yet to release. They're working with customs. In all fairness, they have to work with government. And they are trying to get this huge pallet, and it is huge. There's 1,000 pounds of product on there coming from FedEx.
I'm sorry, Brittany.
They,
I was ready for it today.
yes, it'll be like somewhere, I'm not sure how many boxes, somewhere in the area of 50 boxes, I think, are coming from Hunkydory. 50, 20-pound boxes would be my guess, somewhere in that area. And so FedEx has been asking me their question du jour, and I've been attempting to get our pallet here so I can get your products out to you. So, yeah, Susan, I am not using watercolor paper. I am using the Ink Me cardstocks from the Essential Papers. It's called the Essential 8x8 pad. That's, or 6x6. I think it's a
6x6.
6x6 I'm using right now. So I'm just using the Essentials pad. I like to use them because they're very inexpensive to use it this way. That's what I'm sending you and your kids. And yet they handle the water and the inks really, really well. So I'm using the Essentials. I do have watercolor paper, but I don't think you have to go to watercolor paper to do this. So when will our Craftiganza be here and available? I thought it'd be here a week ago. We are continuing the push. As soon as it gets here, I'm going to ship to you within like 48 hours. So please be patient with me. I'm doing my best, and I'm raising Cain all over the place today to try and get these people to, behave more like I want them to behave. Anyway, so it's time to stamp. Are we ready to stamp? Do you love our background? Is that like the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? And I want you to know you can do all kinds of things. You know, here's one of the ones I showed you earlier. I didn't happen to use this, but you can see that you can just get all kinds of effects. And both of these cardstocks were done using the inks you have in your collection at this point. Maybe what I should do is tell you what inks I use today, and then I will also give you a list of everything I've provided to date in the kit since we started our stamping class, so you can see, because those are the ones I'm assuming you have when I'm working forward. So Craftiganza should be here soon. or I won't live to tell the tale. I'm not sure which, because they're really kind of making me crazy at this point. So we are going to go next to stamping our Santa and sleigh. So let's get that out. Now I made the Santa I have in my sample card is a little bit smaller. The girls told me when I finished putting all of these on here that I had to make some choices, that I couldn't send you everything under the sun. They had to make some choices. So I did, and you're getting a little bit larger Santa because I wanted you to be able to have the greetings and the reindeer and some of the other things that are on this beautiful stamp set. So this is the choice I made instead of sending a big Santa, little Santa. Mary, you need to add black to the list because we are going to stamp some black on here. We are making sure that our stamp is right side up. I did that as I put it on. I made sure that my stamp was going to be going in the proper direction. I got a confession to make as we get further along here, because not only do I occasionally put them on upside down, in my sample card I put it on completely upside down, and I'll show you that again in a minute. Oh, that looks cool. Look at that.
Yeah.
Right across our moon there. Isn't that beautiful? Love that. I just think it could stand to be a little darker though. So I'm going to give it another shot of black. The beautiful thing about stamping platforms is that you can go right back into the same place and not worry about trying to line it up. But that's even better. Okay, so we got our Santa. Now I'm looking at what I was stamping here before, and I'm thinking that perhaps I should go ahead and cut down my cardstock before I stamp my other items, because see, they're kind of along the bottom here. And if I just eyeball it and try and put that in, I don't say much for my chances of doing it. So, but maybe I need to lay it out and see what it's going to look like. I think I'll do that before I cut it off. I'm going to lay my other elements on and see where I'm going to want to make my cuts. The other beautiful thing about a stamping platform is you can wipe these stamps off, peel them back off, put them on your sheet, and no stamp cleaner required because we're pulling them off quickly and it's water-based ink. It wipes right off. Beautiful thing. So, what I meant by laying my card out is I want to see what my other elements are going to look like on here. So, I've got my Christmas tree stamp, which I kind of put in around here. You doing all right over there, Brittany?
Your dog is on my lap, and so
Brittany's having a
Yeah.
cascade of products over there because Teddy's laying in her lap and she's trying to reach around him.
thank you. Are you moving? Come right. I don't.
Okay, I think I'm gonna bring these down about here, which means that I may have to come down. I don't want my tree to be clear up in Santa territory. Maybe I could make my tree actually cut it off the bottom. What do you think? Because with these bigger reindeer, I don't want my tree to be right up in the moon. I mean, I don't mind if it's in the moon, but I don't want it to look like Santa's going to hit the tree. So I think I'm going to stamp this something like that. I'm going to put this on a 5x7 card this time. The other thing I can do if I find that I'm going to get too cramped is I don't necessarily have to use all the layers I've used on this one. I do love the layers, by the way, and I want to, but that is another option. I told you in my sample card I'd show you what I did. Snow Much Fun is upside down. Boy,
It's
was I
foam
unhappy
squares.
with myself. So I have foam squared Merry Christmas over the top. I didn't want to remake my whole card, and I thought my background was beautiful, which was really the intent of the lesson, so I have to put new foam squares on it now since I peeled it off and showed you, but oh gosh, boy did I feel silly. That's what happens when you get tired. Okay. I show you guys so many mistakes that I make. It's a wonder you guys think I have any credibility at all.
I think that it helps.
Okay, and I do like the Snow Much Fun for this one, so let's put that on. But I recommend we go right side up. What do you guys think? I think we should probably try right side up, don't you? So I think I'll do that. I've decided not to cut it off quite yet. I'm going to go ahead and lay out the stamps I want to use and go ahead and stamp it, and then I'll cut it down and see where I am. All right. And I want some snowflakes. And these sets that I included in your kit have wonderful snowflakes. They really do
so
have great
beautiful.
snowflakes. Really pretty, different sizes. And I'm going to do these over here first, I think. Different sizes, and they're beautifully detailed. And so I like them a lot, you can tell. I'm making sure all my snowflakes are right side up. I want them to be facing the detail to be facing my paper, not me. They'll be flat on the surface I'm touching here, and they'll be flat where the press is picking them up. I better put my magnets back down before I do that. How's everybody doing? You're being pretty quiet out there today. Life treating you all pretty well? Everybody healthy? Okay. We're signed in as Hunkydory Crafts demonstration videos. We should probably be signed in next time as Simply Special Crafts. Okay, let's get some ink on here and see what we got. Don't worry about changing it. It's at this point just, I don't want the world to think we're Hunkydory. We're actually Simply Special. We just work with Hunkydory. We like them. We think they're marvelous. In fact, somebody this week asked me, what is your favorite brand? And I don't have to even consider. I mean, there are some beautiful brands out there, but in my opinion, Hunkydory is the best at everything that they do. Okay, get my first layer of ink on here. And obviously that's going to be pretty light, so we're going to come back in, hit that again. I think I told you last time that I have found that if you're using something skinny like a branch or something of that nature, that you actually can, if you push too hard, get the halos. So I've been trying to wipe down my platform a little bit so that I'm not getting, so that I don't risk that there's a halo. And that would be particularly important around like these little snowflakes. We really could get some stray ink, so doing a little bit of mopping up. I said you didn't have to worry about that, but then I learned that you really can get them if you're pushing too hard, which I must obviously do sometimes. So I tend to mop up around some of my lighter pieces, little pieces.
I like that this ink stays moist.
Isn't
enough
that
that
nice?
you don't have to rush.
Yeah. Okay, my snowflakes look good. I think my snowman's looking pretty good, but my tree still looks really pretty bare in the middle, so I'm going to give him another coat or two. And it may be that I have so many stamps surrounding it that it's kind of holding the tree center back a little bit from some of the other pieces. I'm going to give it a little push in the middle of my tree this time. And if necessary, I'll take some of the other stamps off so I can get a better coverage. See, look there, though. That took care of most of it, didn't it? Okay, and I think my tree is good, my snowman's good. I want to, we want to move, add a few extra snowflakes, so I'm going to clean these off just a bit and move my snowflakes around so we can get a few more snowflakes on there. Then we will assemble our card, and this one will be done. And we'll do our next one. Thank you.
Just in case.
Margie takes good care of me, guys. Oops. Sometimes if you leave the lid of your stamp platform wet, your stamps can slide a little bit. So Margie heard me say that before, and she went and got me some paper towels so I could give this a little wipe off so my snowflakes will stick where I put them.
And they're so little.
And they're little. Yes, they are. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to put another big one here like I did in my sample. I like the way that looked. I think I'll put another little one here, kind of in between. And anything else that needs it, maybe one over here. It'll probably get cut off when we trim things up, but
Hi, Mom.
put him there. Hi, Glenda. Welcome.
She likes how you show how to fix your mistakes.
Okay. Well, I'm the one to show you because I make plenty of mistakes. We're watching these professional crafters on YouTube. You know, a lot of times they won't show you their mistakes and it makes you feel less than. I'll never make you feel less than because you're going to see all my mistakes, especially in live streams. You know, there's no editing stuff out. It's just right there for the world to see. It takes some courage to do a live stream.
What haircut? It's pulled back in a bun.
All right. Boy, I need a haircut. I woke up this morning thinking about needing a haircut. I think I'm going to try and bribe my hairstylist to see if she'll come and sit in the driveway and give me a haircut.
Hey, a lot of
I've heard
people
about
are doing it that
I've
way.
heard about doing it. I know I'll have to
Lauren cut mine.
pay her some extra money, but with all the wave I have in my hair, I don't trust everybody to cut my hair. It's gotta be somebody who can cut into the waves, because you think it's shaggy now. Wait till you see what happens if I don't cut it right. I look like I have a lion's mane. Okay, I'm pulling this off, and let's get our paper cutter in here and see what we've got. I know I've got everything really spread out. I could easily have made a 6x6 card out of this, and if you want to, you certainly can, but I'm gonna try and get this down to 5x7, which means I need to get this down to probably, well, like my paper 6 inches wide. So I'm going to probably have to get to 4 inches the other direction. That is not going to be easy. I think I'll turn my light on so I can see what I'm doing. I'll start by going right to the top of the reindeer. And then let's see where that puts me. I might have to cut off part of my reindeer. I can go. That gets me to 4.5 right there. Let's try that. That's kind of what I was saying when I said I was gonna. I think we can make that work. I think that's pretty good, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, good. As long as we have agreement, we can move forward. Let's go. All right. Now, I have in my kit, I have some, is this what we used the black Mirri on? Or just black card? I just need, yeah, just black card, I
It
think.
seems like black card would make sense.
Yeah. It's matte black on this one, and I think that looks good. Okay, so get rid of those. I'm going to need my rainbow Mirri, my 5x7 card, and my black cardstock. I'll start by covering my card with my black cardstock. Or if you have a black 5x7 card, that's even better. We have those in the store. Lots of times I use black cards. We have some packs in the store, I think we still have them, that are called monochrome, that have black and white heavier cards. Those are nice. You know, solid black ones and solid white ones are not black and white, but you know what I mean, maybe. And after all, I'm clear as mud in my descriptions. Okay. You can't blame me, guys. I have like 6 brain cells left after finishing taxes.
It's a huge amount of work.
Well, the income taxes are bad enough, and then Oregon state taxes are not a walk in the park. But when you throw sales tax in on top of that, and as soon as I finished my income tax, I did sales taxes for all of our states, and holy cow, I think I have to do sales tax returns for some 20 states now. It's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy. And you know, I create for a living. I don't want to do taxes. That's not what I want to do. Okay. I have a tiny bit of white hanging over there. I'm just going to trim that off. And my trusty caterpillar crop back into the picture. Now with this many layers, with this, I'm using heavy duty cardstock, so with this many layers and the cardstock covered, it's not a bad idea to open that up to cut it. Well, that looks good. Now we have completed this. I'm gonna put this one I may have to cut this down just a tad more for my little edge to show. So I'm going to come back in. And what I'm doing is, see, this is exactly the same size. I want it to be slightly smaller. So I'm going to choose one side or the other, and I'm choosing the right side, and I'm going to cut off about 1/8 of an inch, and then see how I like that. I only want a tiny border. See that? Yeah, that's perfect there. I only want a little tiny border under here. So I'm going to... And I think I'm going to glue it instead of taping it, just because I have such a super tiny border that will allow me to move it around a little bit and get it positioned nicely. I'll have a little bit more flexibility and room to move. With the tape, as we know, you lay it down, it's there. Could I use a tape flag? Yes, conceivably, but the little borders are so very tiny on this one that I just feel more confident going after it with glue.
Debbie?
Yeah?
I might need to do a little bit of refreshing here. We've got a problem.
What's the matter? We're stuck?
It just got stuck.
Okay.
So-
Can if you guys can hear me, hang on just a minute, because it looks like our video is doing something crazy. Huh.
I'm having a tough time. I've tried
Yeah.
to use the...
Not sure you'll be able to see me as I mop this with my shirt tail.
Well, we're still there for just a minute.
Are you still there, guys?
Yeah, we're all still here.
Oh, are we all?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear okay, and can you see okay?
And we're going to go blank for a minute because I'm going to refresh. We'll see that.
Can somebody answer me that you can see and hear okay?
Are we still good?
Okay, we're good. We're back.
Okay, can you guys see and hear okay? Somebody give me an answer so I know you're there. Hello, hello. It's just froze up again. Can you just hang out here for
We're
a
still
few?
in the buffer, so give
Okay.
it just a minute.
Okay, yes, we can still see and hear. Okay. All right, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut this by sight. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can always measure and use your paper cutter, but I just want this little tiny line here, so I'm just cutting a little fine line there. And I like the way that looks. That's just what I wanted. I'm going to mount this on my card. All okay. Good. Okay. And it looks to me like I actually cut down this card a little bit. Now that I look at it, I did. Look at that. I'm going to cut about a little less than 1/2 an inch off of this card because it looks like I cut it down to a 6.5. And then this will look better. I'll still use my 5x7 envelope with it. Okay, and get my, there we go. I like it. Look how pretty. Then we just got to add some sparkle. And we have we've got our, our sparkle stuff. What's our sparkle stuff called? Our,
Stickles.
Stickles, thank you.
You're welcome.
I told you guys I got 7 brain cells left.
That one I didn't expect, considering you put stickles on everything.
Okay. Like I said, 7 brain cells remaining.
I went.
And they're all yours, guys, because I love you. Okay, gotta get a little stickles going here. I'm gonna put some stickles around, probably not as crazy as I did on my sample card. I think I got a few too many there. But I'm gonna put some stickles around. I'm just gonna create some. I have a very well-used bottle. Shake it down. I'm gonna create some little dots on my tree. Here we go. Here we go. We're moving. And I'm gonna place these about 3/8 of an inch apart, because I think that will be better than, I kind of overdid it in my original design. That's the nice thing about making more than one of something. You can critique your work and do it differently. Okay. Nobody's eating chips. That's Brittany packaging products over there, getting ready for your next product or your next class. I have some new projects to show you.
She's packaging up the floral garden in the garden and in the fields tattered lace. Goodies.
Okay. So she is over there making kits anyway. And we love that Brittany makes kits. It's because Brittany makes kits that we can do all these fun classes that we do. So thank you for that, Brittany. Some nice sparkles on my tree. Now I'm going to put, I think I'll put maybe a dot in the center of each snowflake. And then on my big snowflakes, I think I'll put a dot on each one of the little branches coming out, because that will look good. Don't you love stickles and the fact that, well, it takes a while to dry, and that's the downside. I love that it's not messy. Although we've already ascertained that making a mess is not really something that keeps me from doing anything I want to do. But I do love the fact that it's not particularly messy and that it's all kind of self-contained in one little bottle. I don't have to get a bunch of supplies out to do it. And I like the fact that it has Stickles brand, the Ranger Stickles have a really, really good sparkle to them. I've purchased in some from the Netherlands. That was a glitter glue that I have to say I don't care for at all, because it's just not the same quality as the Ranger Stickles. Okay, that, my friends, is a finished card. What do you think? Do you love our background and our techniques in this one? Isn't that beautiful? We'll set this aside to dry. And let's get our next project out. We have 2 to do. And there's things I want to show you in both of them. Let's go ahead and do this one first. This one's not going to require quite as much background work, because as you can see, this is kind of a dusk, or maybe a dusk or even dawn scene. It's not as dark as the last one that we did. So it's actually going to be much, much easier or much less work to create our background for this one. Let's go ahead and get that one going. We can use our same mask. Whoops, probably don't want to do it on an envelope, however. Okay. All right, let's get our same mask out. We need our designated yellow sponge. And I'm going to go really light on this one because I want all of my colors on this one to be pretty light. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to work towards the top of my card. And I'm going to put in a very soft yellow. Not worrying about how big it is because I'm going to go over the top of the other. Oops, that is a card, not a cardstock. That's okay, now it's going to be a card stock. Grab the wrong piece here. But now it's a cardstock. No problem.
Let me get you another card.
All right, so we're laying down my yellow. I have a nice soft yellow patch there. I'm going to put my mask over the top of that. And now I'm going to get my lighter blues and my purple. I'll probably use my periwinkle. I'm going to use a little bit of the nautical. I'm going to use a little bit of the mauve and maybe a little bit of the purple. So I guess I'm using all the same colors. I'm just using them in a little lesser concentration. And I'm going to start with my periwinkle. I'm going to get my sponge out. Now I know that I was using a really dark color with this last, so I'm daubing it off. I daubed off my sponge a little extra to make sure that I wasn't going to get a big old dark patch. And I'm going to start by just lightly going around to my mask, laying down a very soft blue tone, just going very lightly. Don't worry if your sponge sheds a little bit. You can tap those or blow those off. It's not going to mess up your ink. And I'm going to continue to come out a little further with my blues. I'm going to pick up a little more color. And I think I'm pretty much going to take this blue out quite a ways. Now, if you're thinking about my foreground being white and, worrying about the blue coming down too far, because see, my foreground is white. Don't worry about it. We're cutting paper and putting over the top there to create those layers. So I don't have to worry about how far down my color goes because I am going to lay additional sheets in there. And that's how I'm going to get my hillsides there. How's our time, Margie?
Well, I have to refresh, so let's take a peek at what it says.
What time is it, Britt?
It is 5:02.
5:02. Okay, so we're only an hour in. We're good. We're good.
My mom wants to know if you can bring the camera close so she can see all the details and proofread.
Yes, I absolutely will. This is where we're going. And when I said we're going to cut our papers, we're going to cut a piece to go here. We're going to cut another white piece to go here. And then I actually cut a third piece here. So I'm just trying to kind of create texture and depth. And I think we might even put some foam squares in here this time and create extra depth with those hills.
Yeah.
But that's where we're going with this one.
Lots of frou-frou on this one.
Okay, and I'll also give you a close-up view of this one and just see how we're doing. And all I'm doing is just very lightly putting in the blue right now. I've got my mask put over my sun, and I'm going to pick up, I think, I want a little warmer tone underneath. So I'm going to pick up some of this mauve, tap it off. It's a much lighter color, so I'm getting a good concentration of ink on there, but then I'm tapping it off. And I'm just going to kind of rub this back and forth to try and add some lighter purples, pink kind of tones in below here. I like that. I'm going to go back to my blue, tap it, always tap it, guys. I'm going to kind of pull this out this way. I'm going to bring my blues on over. But I want my sky to be pretty light this time. A little more purple. I'm going to go to my actual purple. I'm going to tap that off real good because it's a dark color. I don't want it to just take over when I put it on. But I'm kind of holding my mask down a little bit since I have tape underneath it, and I don't want it to kind of escape my tape, you know, and get in underneath there. So I'm kind of holding it down just a little bit.
Betty says that puffy stuff would be good on this. The snow pins, I think is what she's talking about, where you can make your puff.
Yeah, puffy stuff would work.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it would absolutely look good on the snow.
Those snow pins
I
are
agree.
really cool.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, I think that'd be really fun, Betty. Okay, I wanted a little more purple there. I'm going to come up around with a little more color right around my sun. Remember, you're tapping off and you're using a light hand when you first go up around stuff. And then you can push a little harder as you're working your way out. It's fun. One of the things that I think is fun and interesting about this is that no two will turn out exactly the same because you're, you know, kind of creating your backgrounds as you go. I think it's marvelous that no two turn out exactly the same. I actually think this might be ready to start doing some of our stamping on. Now we can always come in and do some more on our backgrounds if we decide we want it. Let's peel this.
I really like how this one is so subtle.
And yeah, in order to keep our color subtle, the more I work, the darker it's going to get. So I'm going to stop here. And you might be noticing it's particularly light here, but I'm going to put a tree in here. And if you look, I kept it really light and almost foggy around the tree. I like the way that looks, so I'm going to leave it that way. And I'm going to stamp my other tree in now so I can kind of get a sense of where my pieces are going to place. So I'm getting my stamp platform back out now. And we're going to put our newly created background in our platform. And we are not going to stamp on the bottom because we're creating that hillside, remember, coming in front. I'm going to stamp it first, and then I'm going to cut my hillside to fit where my stamp goes. Okay? That way there's no fussy measuring or anything. A little liquid refreshment from the Coca-Cola company there. Okay.
Alice wants to know if you could use flock for the snow.
Why not? Try it. You know what? We have one thing we have that is in the store that would be really, really fun to try for the snow is either flocked. We do have, I think we still have flocked paper.
Yeah.
And we have velveteen paper, and the velveteen paper could be really, really, really fun and rich on this too. So yes, you know, try it, guys. Or white glittered paper would be fabulous. Fabulous. We might even have some white glittered paper. Look at them glitter
we
stacks
do.
there.
We
Do I have
do.
white glittered paper in my glitter stacks over there?
Yes.
If we
there's
do,
white
maybe
in
I'll
there.
cut a piece of that and we'll just try it, because that would be fun, since I have some handy. Okay, moving my stuff out of the way for a minute, getting my stamps back out here. This time I'm going to use, oh, I did a fun trick with this one too. This branch is what I'm using to create my tree in the back here. I'm going to stamp it up and going slightly off my platform. Therefore, putting something underneath to protect my foam would be good. We have the replacement packs of foam, but I don't need to go all out to have to use it. I'm going to just put something here so I can stamp right off the edge. Thank you. Is that the, oh yeah, that is glittery. That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm going to use a piece of white glitter paper, and we're just going to try what we just talked about, because that'd be fun. Why not? It's not in your kit, but... Okay. I'm going to put some ink on that branch. And you saw what I did. I'm just sliding my paper underneath here just to protect my platform. And I'm going to ink up this branch. Bring that down. And I'm stamping right off the edge with that. I'm going to give that another coat. Bring that down. I'm so glad to see you guys. I can't tell you how I missed doing my crafting and hanging out with my friends. I really like you guys, and I like the time we spend together. It enriches my life, so thank you for being there for me. Okay, I'm going to clean off my stamp.
We do have the white velveteen paper.
Excuse me?
I said we do have the
Oh
white
yeah, it's called
velveteen
cotton,
paper.
isn't it?
Coconut.
Coconut. It's called coconut. Okay, now I'm going to take this same branch, guys, and I'm coming in from the side. I'm going to overlap the trunk of the tree just a little bit. If I don't like the way they match up, I'll trim that part off. Because I'm coming in from the side. But I'm going to kind of just overlap it just a tad. Now watch what happens with that skinny little tree that we just created. It's going to become a beautiful tree. Now we have a tree that is full and beautiful. How's that?
I love that.
That's fun, huh? Okay. So we will take this, wipe it down, and we're going to get our Christmas tree. And we're going to put it in. I think I have my son a little more to the right this time than I had last time. So how about if we just put our tree, maybe overlapping our moon a little more than we did last time. That's okay. I'm going to go right there. I still want to leave room for my deer to be walking, so I'm going to check my stamp. I didn't say that this time, but I want to check my stamp and make sure that it's going the right direction. And it is, because the rough part is towards my paper. That's where the stamped image is. You just don't want that flat part coming down and messing up your work. Now this tree has presents under it, but we're not going to worry about that with our nature scene because we're bringing the ground right up over the top of the bottom of the tree. So nobody's ever going to see that. I suppose you could have a tree in the forest with presents underneath. I mean, after all, we saw Santa minutes ago. We know he's out there. So there could be presents under a tree. But for my purposes with my deer, I just want to have him, her, encountering a tree that does not have presents. I'm going to give this one more coat. I want this nice and dark black. I've used my black so very much with all the samples and then the cards with you with the Savannah and a lot of things I've been doing. You know, you don't always see everything I've worked up because you only get to see the ones I like the most. And I may have to replace my black before long, but it's still there. It's just sometimes have to give it 2 or 3 coats. I have been asked about refills for the Hunkydory ink. To this point, they are not yet available, but I'm going to ask Adam, the president of Hunkydory, if they're planning to get refills. I kind of hope they will, because it really prolongs the life of your stamp pad if you get those. The good news is that if we manage to wear one out, they're not terribly expensive. So that's the good news. Okay, I have my stamping for now is done. So I'm going to slide my stamps out of the way. And I'm going to get, Margie just brought me this glitter cardstock. And I'm going to cut myself a piece of 6x6 to start with, because that's what you have in your kit. It's not glitter, but it's 6x6 cardstock. And there's nothing whatsoever that is carved in stone about what we're just going to do, guys. I just started cutting. And I cut it where I liked it. So I want to create kind of a sloping hillside. Obviously, it's not going to cut straight across. I'm going to create kind of a sloping hillside to come in here. I want my hillside to be fairly steep because look how high my tree is. And I want it to be in front of that. And I want it to come clear down here under that tree. I'm going to start cutting, and then I probably will cut more until I just get it where I want it. Mm-hmm. There's nothing whatsoever that's going to be fancy about what you just see me do. I'm just
nice,
gonna,
because it's not a right or a wrong.
There's no right or wrong to this. It's just what looks good.
Preference.
And that was pretty darn close. I gotta say, that was pretty darn close. I think that's not bad. I'm gonna cut this. Let's see, what is it that I was reacting to? I'm gonna cut this off just a little less high there, so I can slide it down a little more. There we go. I like it there. Okay, I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Oh, how easy was that?
Take this out of here so I can kind of position one against the other. Can you guys see what I'm doing okay? Now, I don't care that I'm covering up a little bit of each one of my trees. I mean, it's just like what we're going for is a snowy hillside stands between us and the bottom of the tree. I'm going to go ahead and put this down. And then, do I want it on foam squares for this first one? I don't think I want this first one on foam squares. I think I want this first one actually literally adhered to my cardstock. So I'm going to put a little glue once again. I'm using glue because I want to be able to slide it around just a little bit. And if I use tape, it's down for the count. You know, I love my tape, but sometimes glue is better for certain jobs. And just like that, I wouldn't have been disappointed if I left the packages showing under the tree. But I like the way that looks. Looky there. Now I'm just going to flip this over just as I would if I were covering a card. I'm going to slide that up just a little bit because when I made it straight, the packages showed again. And I don't want packages under my tree. Well, I do. Let me rephrase. I really do want packages under my tree. I just don't want packages under my tree in this snow season.
I don't know that I
Less
can remember
priced.
that long.
Huh?
I said I don't think I can remember that long to, tease you about not wanting presents at Christmas.
Okay, I'm going to take this piece that I cut. Oh, I can't flip it over because it's got. Well, maybe I'm not. Because I'm using, if I was using just white cardstock, I'd flip this over and come the other way with it, guys. Because look what that does. But I'm using this one, so I'm going to get myself another piece of my glitter paper. And I'm going to cut myself a little slope coming back the other way. And once again, there's no fanciness to what I'm doing. I'm just going to, I'm going to cut this in half. So it's a little easier to work with. I'm going to cut this. I think I actually want it to start just above the other hill and then come down this way. So I'm going to cut this about like that. Oh, that looks good. That looks good. Now before I put this down, I want to create some shadows. Even though I have my glitter there, I want to create a little bit of a shadow where my hillsides are overlapping. So I'm going to take my...
Mary wants to know if it snows a lot in Oregon.
No.
My answer is that it depends on where you're at.
That's true.
And so there are lots of places that snow, but here in Portland, we've lived in an area, I've personally lived in an area with lots of snow for over 20 years, and we come to the area and Portland shuts down if it has a little tiny light snow.
Yeah. Or a threat of snow.
Or a threat of snow.
They cancel school if there's a threat of snow in Portland. People who have lived in other parts of the country just can't believe it.
It's hilarious. But anyway, sorry to interrupt. So yes, Mary, there can be lots of snow in different areas of Oregon, but
if you're sitting on the top of Mount Hood, there will be lots of snow, but otherwise, east of the mountains.
East of the mountains. That's pretty.
Oregon is split, and Washington both are split right down the middle. And there is by the Cascade Mountains. And on this side of the Cascades, hardly any snow. Other side of the Cascades, they get lots of snow. And the beautiful Columbia Gorge you hear about, and it is as beautiful as they say it is, by the way. The beautiful Columbia Gorge that you hear about now and again, it gets lots of snow and becomes totally treacherous, icy.
Very icy.
And nasty to travel in the wintertime. I'm going to use foam squares. I'm not worried about using foam squares for this because we all know that if you use a foam square and you don't like the placement, you simply pop it up and move it. Yeah, pop it up and move it.
I love that shadowing that pulled up on the snow.
I want to show you what I just did. Can you see that?
You can.
And now I'm just going to put this in front of it and see I'll still have the shadow of a hillside there. Isn't that neat? So I'm gonna pop these foam squares in front of there, and then I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna cut around it again. I probably should, before I put this down, actually stamp on it. And I already put my foam squares on. I want my winter wishes on this level. I've never tried to stamp on that glitter card.
Maybe we test a glitter card that's not going on your card.
Oh, well, let's go for it. Let's go for it, Margie. Come on. Come on. Be brave. Winter wishes. This is why I end up remaking a lot of things.
Hey, but it's trying something new and seeing if it works.
Well, I have more. I'm safe because I have more glitter cards sitting here. I can remake my hillside if necessary. But I'm going to use my stamp Winter Wishes. I want it to be, I'm going to go kind of just below that hillside, I think, because I'm going to put another layer in front of it. So I think I want it to be right about there. I better fasten this down a little bit. That's going to be interesting though, because I do have those foam squares under there. So we'll see what happens. I don't know, guys. Can you stand the pressure? The intensity of it all. What will happen?
Where'd your black go?
Will it wipe out or will it work? She's got foam squares under it and she's working on glitter paper. How is it going to work? I honestly don't know, but we'll find out.
Well, with that foam
Right?
underneath that it gives you, I really
No.
like this stamp pad. Because the foam, I think, will help
I'm
settle
going to give
that.
it just a little more. And I think it's going to be perfect. And I actually don't mind if it's not super dark black because this is a really subtle card. So
It is. It's beautiful. It really is already.
all right, looky there. We have successfully stamped. Oops. We have successfully stamped on glitter card. Now we know, yes, it can be done. And we have run foam squares under it, and we got away with it. It weren't right under it, that's why we got away with it. I'd have peeled them off if it was right under it. Because even I'm not that adventurous. Okay. And let's put this down here. We've got that pretty shadowing coming in from the back. I'm going to trim this up. And then I'm going to put one more layer on foam squares ahead of this. So I'm trimming it up just as if I were facing a card. If this is going to be even prettier than the last one. And the last one was pretty. Oh, sometimes I get so excited.
It is so much better than dealing with FedEx.
Oh my gosh, so much better. I'm going to take this piece I already cut on, and I'm going to make this fairly flat here. And I'm going to come up just a little bit and add one more layer in front here. Ooh, that's going to look good. And that's, I think, I actually know exactly what I'm going to do. We're doing this differently. We're making it on the fly, guys. But I was just
All
thinking.
piece of glitter paper.
All kinds of glitter paper and the idea of the foam squares. I didn't think of that when I did it last time. And I think the foam squares are going to add a lot. Oh, you know what we need to do though here? We need to get our shadowing in. And instead of putting my shadowing in back, I'm going to take this piece. I'm going to get a little of my blue. And I'm going to pull this blue right along the top of this little piece to create a little bit of shadowing here.
Really pulls. It's amazing how it creates that white line at the very, very tip top.
I'm going to put a little bit of this blue up to this hillside too. And maybe even just a little bit more right on the edge of the top of that hillside. This gets, so we have kind of that soft blue around. We're going to put, I need to put a little bit of glue under my layers here because I was just kind of placing them temporarily. So my first layer is only glued at the top. I need glue down here. On that first layer, I need some foam squares under layer 2.
Speaking of foam squares under layer 2, Alice would like to know if you should put glue on the foam squares so that it adheres to the glitter paper.
This particular, if a glitter paper is rough at all, I absolutely would put glue on the foam squares. This particular glitter paper that I'm using is real smooth, and I don't think it's going to be an issue at all. They seem to be sticking nicely. So it really depends on the glitter paper. What fun. You could even make your own glitter paper. We know how, don't we?
You know the Crafter's Companion paper that is glitter? That would work well without having it stick.
Good idea.
That's in the mixed.
It's in the mix packs?
Yeah, it's in the mix packs.
Do we have one that's white?
It's very fine glitter. I'm not sure. We have a few different ones. I think there's some silvers and blues and greens and reds. But it's a fine enough paper that I've used it before without having to do the glue. Okay,
put my foam squares on, guys, on the back of this layer. You guys like this card? Yeah? What do you think? I like it. I think it's very, very... She's just so elegant, this deer. I want to show you, before we sign off here, some other samples I did. I finished all of my sample work, and Brittany said, and Debbie, you can't have 5 cards in a Thursday class. You have to choose. So I'm going to show you some more cards that I've created for your inspiration that you could do with the materials that you have, and the, you might have to add some additional cardstock, maybe a little additional material of your own, because I didn't send materials for all of these. But you can certainly do them with the papers and materials, the ink pads and stuff that you have. Now I'm going to have to glue her feet because her legs are too fine to put foam squares. I'm going to put I'm going to put 2 layers of foam squares behind her head, and it depends on what she's resting on. If she's resting on this very back piece, she needs 2 foam squares, right? Because we have 2 layers between her and the back. And then I'm going to glue her feet. So the way I've cut my hillside and your hillside may work out differently. So if you're adhering any part of it to the first layer hillside, then you could just put 1 there, but you need to put 2 if we're going to the back part. So I'm going to layer 2. I think I'll put 2 foam squares down on her neck, peel those, and then put another layer of foam squares right over the top. I'm not too worried about my foam squares showing behind, because if they show at all, they're white against a white background, right? Yep. So that's not going to be an issue. I mean, they're not going to show from under her, certainly, but from the side, you're not going to worry about that because it's going to be white against mostly white.
No, people will just already be looking to see how to do what you did with that. So they're going to turn it on the side and go, oh, look at that.
Okay, so I'm going to put a little glue on her legs. When we look at the other samples, so I'll show you why I sent you a stencil piece, which was really, as you know, because you're smart, was really the cutout from when we cut out the deer. But I sent you, look at that. Is that pretty or what? Now, I'm not going to take the time to put the stickles on, but of course, we want some stickles. I would take some stickles and create icy accents on the branches of this tree. Just a fine line, guys. Don't go crazy. Just a fine line of stickles. A fine line of stickles on the larger branches. Choose one side. And then maybe, I wouldn't worry about the tiny branches, but just come out on the major branches with a fine line of stickles. Up here, up here, out here. And then on this tree, I'd kind of pretend you see the branches, and I'd put some on the branches coming on this tree. Okay? Oh, how cute is that? I'm also not going to take time, just because I want to show you my last card, I'm not going to take the time to cut this down. We'd have to cut it just a little bit to have our black show, and we'll be mounting that on our 6x6 card. You guys know how to do that, so I'm not going to take any time for that. But how cute is that? going to be? Oh my gosh. This is way better than the original. That's just fabulous.
It is.
That's fabulous. Yay, us. Okay. Now, let me show you. I still want to do, we are actually going to do one more really quick demonstration, but I want to show you why I sent you this. When you do your additional cards, and here's one that we did. Now, you know how to do this. You just don't know that you know how to do this yet. I made the background, just like we just made. Then I cut a stencil. I cut a stencil here, and I used my deep glue, and I pulled it. I pulled it down. I pulled it and pulled it. Now, I didn't pull it clear to the bottom. And then I end up having this really neat light and dark blue. See that? But I put a mask here. I took my dark blue stamp pad along my mask. Let's see. Let's pretend this is my mask. I put my mask down and I just pulled it to get that rich dark blue behind her. My tree is stamped. My grass line is stamped. Then use your stencil. Tape it down with some removable tape so it doesn't pull up your ink. Tape it down. Use your black and fill in the stencil. And you can make as many of those deer as you want. How's that for cool? Looking out for you. Watching your costs. If you want this deer, by the way, she is by Dee's distinctively, and we have her available in the store. Isn't she beautiful?
She is.
She's so elegant. But there's one thing that you can do with your mask. As long as I'm already showing you my other inspiration pieces, let me show you these two. This is my first one. This one, you may not be able to see it on the screen, but I've used blue and purples and kind of pulled them across for the skyline, and then I spritzed the heck out of it, and it is so shimmery. It's really, really beautiful. And then I took some blue jewel dazzles and put in my snowflakes, and that was fun. And this one, I loved doing this one. I wanted to do this one with you, and I just didn't have enough hours available to do this one with you. When I did this one, guys, I took a piece of paper and first I made my moon and I masked it. Okay, so to protect the yellow, I took another piece of paper and I taped it down over the whole thing. I took my blue stamp pad and I completely filled this side of the card. Then I lifted it and I designed the other side just like we've just done. And then after that was all done, then I spritzed the heck out of it and made it just wonderfully frosty. When it was dry, I stamped my trees and I stamped off the card so I got different size trees. So here's one that's almost full size, here's one that's lesser, and here's just a piece of a little tree. Then I stamped my Santa and Sleigh clear across the whole thing to pull it together. Used my Merry Christmas and put it on glitter paper. There's my other inspiration piece for you. So have fun trying that one. I'd love to see somebody do this and post it online. Here's your challenge, guys. It's really fun. Try it. This is a really fun one. Speaking of fun ones, I wanted to show you this one because we did something extra special with the acetate. I'm always getting people asking how to use acetate, and I thought this was really fun. Use, somewhere here I have my round circle that used to be right here. Oh, here it is, yeah. This is what we're going to use to make our design on. So we're going to, this entire thing is the moon, right? You could put a little yellow down on it. This time I didn't. I just made the moon blue, but you could if you wanted to. I'm going to put a little blue background on here using my blue sponge. I got to have my paper to pounce off on. And we're going to give this just kind of a nice, fun, kind of all over color. And you'll notice I'm kind of going side to side this time. I'm just giving that just a little bit of background color in my moon. You can give it as much color as you want in the background. I'm going to get my spritzer box up here. I'm going to work kind of quickly here because I know I'm running out of time. And I'm trying to keep you guys to a little shorter classes in the evening in case anybody has to go to work. If you have to leave us, I will understand, and I promise not to be offended. And you can pick it up later and watch the rest of this one. But I still want to do this one for you because this is really fun. I'm going to put my moon in my box. I'm going to get my spritzer out again. Oops, sorry. I'm going to get my spritzer out and I'm going to spray it. I'm going to spray it pretty good. I'm going to pull it out of my box.
I like how the bigger dots create craters.
And I'm going to take, where's that paper towel you brought earlier? I'm going to take a towel and I'm going to pull those side to side a little bit. I'm going to actually spritz again. I just want you guys to have all kinds of fun things you can do with these materials I'm sending you. So that's why we're doing some of this. Always when you're spraying your spritzer, be sure that you shake it before you go because you want to be sure your color's matched. Your color's good in there and you're getting that mica. Ooh. And all I'm doing is just kind of pulling this from side to side a little bit. It's not quite as dark as my other one, but I really like the way that looks. I may just stop there. Use as many coats as you like. See, mine was a lot darker the first time, but I'm kind of liking that. So I'm going to use it just that direction right there. It's a little darker on this side. See that? Huh? Yeah.
It will look striking. It'll kind of give you the idea that...
Okay, I'm pulling my stamp platform in. Do I have I have a piece of black cardstock here. Oh, that's my, let's see, do I still have a piece of black cardstock in the kit? I think I do. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and, what size do I want this to be? Where's my card for this one? Sorry if I'm disorganized, guys. I'm just trying to hurry. Okay. No, this was a 5x5. I wonder what we put in. Did we put in a 5x5 or 6x6? We could do it as 6x6 if we need to. I'm not sure. Can one of you who has your kit tell me? The other thing we could do, I really want it to be 5x5, so I'm going to cut it down. Do you have a 5x5? Oh, good. I'm not sure which one Brittany gave you. You could make it on a 6x6. Just alter your dimensions a little bit if you want to. I'm going to put this, I'm going to cut my cardstock so that it is equal dimensions. So my cardstock is 5 wide. I think this is a 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 card. So I'm going to make this 5x5 also. I'm going to put my moon right down in the center of my card. And I'm going to go ahead and do that now before I do my stamping. I don't know how many of you have used the spritzers and stuff in the past, but they're really fun tools to change the way your cards look and your stamping looks. I really recommend playing with those because they're wonderful. I left my stamp on here earlier. Okay, peel that off. I'm going to put my card down on my stamping platform. And the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp a Santa across here. So I'm going to get my Santa stamp out again as soon as I figure out what I did with him. I've just been moving stuff out of my way and I didn't put my stamps away, so it's probably stuck to the bottom or something. Oh, I did put it away. How about that? That's why I couldn't find it. Ha! Thank you, Alice. Yes, if you guys like our class and you're finding it fun and interesting and useful, please do give me a thumbs up. I like it very much. It makes me happy. Okay. My Santa is going to kind of go off the edges on both sides. I don't care about that. You can put it on here in any way that pleases you. I'm going to put mine about like that. And then I want Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, which is off of the Santa page. And I'm going to put this below Santa. And I'm going to wait and I'm going to stamp my trees when I'm done, but I can go ahead. There are these very fun little stars in the lower part of your stamp sheet here. Peel those little stars and put one right under Christmas, kind of trailing back from Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Let's go ahead and pull that platform down. Just pulled my magnets right off. But I'm going to slide my cardstock right back up into the corner where I had it. I'm going to hit that with some black ink. Done lots of silhouettes, haven't we? I'm very aware that we haven't done any coloring yet, but it's coming, guys. We're going to be doing some coloring. I like to do silhouette stamping because you don't have to color anything, so it's really fast. But it's not the only stamping to do.
We did our pretty poinsettias last week.
But those were silhouette stamps too.
Oh.
There was no coloring involved in them. We just used different colors of inks.
I hadn't thought about it that way before.
Yeah, it was all silhouette. Well, I'm going to give that another shot of ink here. I love the fact that you can come back in with a stamp platform and hit things more than once. Now, when you find that your stamps or your pads are getting a little more worn like mine, I recommend that you store them upside down. Okay? I think that basically what that does is it brings the ink to the top surface of the stamps, of the ink pads. Okay, one more shot. I have not yet stored mine upside down, but starting this week, that's going to happen because I can see that my black is getting a little more worn. Okay, I've got Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, and I love the way that looks. I'm going to clean off my stamps, and I'm going to reposition my stars, and I'm going to put in some trees. Okay, let's see. I want the stars back, and I'm going to put the stars kind of right under the reindeer hooves and around my Merry Little Christmas. And then I'm going to get my tree stamp. And I'm going to slide my protective paper back in under here so I'm not stamping on my phone. Now I don't want my stamping surface to be uneven with that extra card or paper underneath there. So slide it under your whole stamping surface wherever you're stamping, guys. So that's why I slid it up under my stars too. I didn't want to have half of my stars showing and the other half not wanting to go down. I'm going to put my tree right about there, which is repositioning it a bit from my original sample, but then I'm going to bring my next one way down. And my stamps are in fact going the right direction. They're facing the area that I want to stamp. These magnets are so strong, and yet the sticky on the stamps is so strong too that it still tries to lift small projects. Okay, I don't have to stamp all over this tree. I know only this upper part's showing, so I only really need to stamp what's going to show. Oops, I'm on top of one of my magnets. Let's move that out of the way. And my stamp, or my stars, look great. My tree is going to need another stamping. Remember, this is really, really a good value for this kit this week, guys. So if you didn't get this one, this is one to get. Even though I'm not giving you any new stamp colors between the spritzer bottle and all the materials that you're getting.
And the bottle of Stickles.
And the bottles. Oh, I can't believe I just did that. Holy cow, I was all distracted. Well, I'm not going to worry about it.
This is hours of taxes.
Yes.
And hours.
Well, I probably will take something and buff that out a little bit where I just did that, because that was goofball, but I may be able to just take my sponge and look at that.
Look at you go.
I just took my sponge and kind of fixed that. Oh man, what am I doing? Okay. I'm down to 5 brain cells at this point.
Well,
Started with 7, then down to 5.
5.
Okay, there's my tree. Now I'm going to move my tree. Wipe it off a little bit. I'm going to reposition it. I may even go over a little bit of my stars here. I can also cover up a little bit of my mess right there I did. I'm going to go right there. My tree is facing the right direction. I only have to do just the top. I'll bring him back down. Beautiful. And actually, I don't even necessarily need to do make him darker, because it's kind of representing that it's in the background. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave that little shadow there because I like it. And I'm going to put one more here. And it's literally just the very top of the tree this time. There we go. We have our stamped image. our stamped and spritzed image. Love it. Now we want to create our card, and we're doing something a little different this time, guys. How do I want to do this? We are going to take our acetate, and I know you gave me acetate. Didn't I have a piece? Maybe I didn't have a piece.
It was part of the other kit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I don't want to dig into that other kit since I've managed to. Everybody's acetate might be a little different. I think most of you got Snowfall Acetate, and that's actually what I wanted. This is too much. That's just not going to do it. I'm going to have to take the one out of the other kit, and then we can replace it when our... This is okay.
Oh,
This one's okay.
we could do that. Is it enough?
Too little.
Too little.
Nope. I'm going to use a different acetate just so I don't have to break up the kit, because we are technically out of Snowfall Acetate, but when that great big old order gets here, God willing, good Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise, we will have Snowfall Acetate again. So I got really creative with your kits and just did what I needed to do. I'm going to cut my acetate to be just as wide as this piece of cardstock is, which I believe is 5 inches. Yes, it is. It's 5 inches. And so I'm going to cut my acetate at 5 inches. You should be close to that, but it may be I think you got a half sheet, so you probably have to cut yours down a little too. Okay, right at 5 inches. And what we're going to do is we're going to create like a capsule for our stamped image. This is actually, the silver's going to be quite pretty on this. Look at that. That's actually going to be really pretty. It's not what I envisioned, but you know, sometimes what you don't envision works out just fine.
But you know, it works because it's got stars on it, on the stamp, and it gives it that sparkle.
If you have a scoreboard, this is a brilliant job for a scoreboard. In the interest of time, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take my thumb. I'm going to bend my acetate. And I'm going to bend this right around my stamped image that we just did, guys. I'm going to fold it up here. Oops. I want it tight, but I don't care if it's not super tight. Now, once I've done that, I'm going to score this really deep. I happen to be scoring it with my thumbnail, but it doesn't matter. Use your scoring tool. Use your thumbnail. Doesn't matter. We're going to create a little packet for this card. There we go. I'm going to put a piece of adhesive between the back of my card and my acetate. Tape will work great for that because the tape will hold both surfaces wonderfully. Why I'm working so hard at that when I can just take it out. Okay. I'm going to peel my tape. Come on, shake loose. This card is going to have wonderful dimension because of the acetate. It's going to look great. I'm going to put this in here and push it down. This in here. Make sure that my card is completely enveloped. Push it down. And what will end up happening, because we're fastening the acetate in the back and not in the front, is you're going to end up with a little bubble over the top, which is exactly, are you in my camera? Which is exactly what we want, because what it's doing is creating snow in the foreground of our picture. Okay? I'm going to take my card. I'm going to mount this directly to my card. If I wanted to, I could spritz my card and make it match my moon, but I actually really like it white too. I'm going to attach this, and then I'm only going to have one more step. I know lots and lots of you already got these. If you didn't get one, grab it quick. They're going to sell out this week, this next thing I'm going to show you. But if they do sell out, I'm sure I should be able to get more by Christmas. It was on Brits Bargains this time, and it is the coolest thing for inserting in your cards. I am going to, there's my finished outside. Isn't that charming? I love it. I totally love it.
I like the stars.
And now I'm going to pick out a greeting that I think matches. Oh, this is perfect. This one says, Christmas time is here again. It comes but once a year. May winter wishes fill your home and fill your hearts with cheer. Somehow that just matches our Santa, the whole winter wishes concept. These are like vellum style stickers. Oh, I'm pulling in the wrong place. They are peel and stick. If I had a design inside, the design would show through, but if I just want to put it inside my card, how beautiful and professional does that look? There we go. That, my friends, is our final card of the day. Let's take a look at what we've done and what we've learned today. We have done 3 cards. We did our first one with the snowman reaching out towards the tree. So much fun. We did our beautiful dimensional deer on the snowy background. I'm totally loving this.
Very pretty.
That is just something else. And we did our Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. If you're wondering about those greetings that I just showed you, they're called Easy Peelies. Terrible name, absolutely spectacular product. Love them, love them, love them. I'm going to take another one of these. I didn't mean to pull it there, but that's okay. And I'm going to put it in my Snow Much Fun card that we just did because I have it here and why not? I do still have wet stickles on there. I can feel it on my fingers, so I think I will not throw my card open to do it. And beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I had ink on my fingers. Clean your ink off your fingers before putting it down. Brittany's over here shaking her head at me, guys. So, let's see. Oh, one last thing. I am still putting your next stamping class together, but I do want to show you what we are going to do on Saturday. And the kits are just now being put together, so you will not have your kits in your hands, most likely, when we do our class on Saturday, but that's okay. Let me show you what we're going to learn and what we're going to do. This is what we're making. We're making a beautiful Christmas planner, which you can add your own sentiments to, or you can use the ones that I'm sending you. I am sending you both the cardstock that I used to cover it. I'm sending you the materials to make your base. We are making the book, guys. We're making the book. I will send you the cardstocks. I will send you the stickers. I will send you the labels. You can make it just like mine, or you can make your own. My first one opens up to a pocket for gift cards, cash, whatever I want to take with me shopping, or gift cards that I buy for other people where I don't want to lose them. Some people need to keep track of things. They have a tendency to lose things. If that applies to you, raise your hand. Raise your inky fingers if that applies to you. Page 2. This one is my gift list with little check boxes. My next page is my dates to remember in December. We always all have so much going on in December these days. Isn't it crazy? Maybe in the age of COVID it won't be as busy, but I gave you a little one-line calendar with dates to remember. This is a sticker down here. On this page I have a place for my dinner menu, what we plan to fix, and my desserts. I've got my Merry Christmas down below. And on this side, I've created a pocket, and this pocket is for your coupons and recipes. If you pick up a recipe somewhere that you want to try, you got your coupons for your shopping, stick them in there. I've got my dinner shopping list. I've got my craft ideas for December because we never want to get so busy that we don't take time for Christmas crafting. These are all little stickers out of the sticker sheet that I'm sending you. I've got my Christmas cards received. I've got my Christmas cards sent. Maybe you have another method of handling those. If so, you can make your book shorter, or you can reallocate these pages to something different that you will find useful. I've put stickers on mine. I've got a notes page at the end. I'm going to use this to make notes about when I hear somebody say that throughout the year now, between now and Christmas, what they wish they had or something neat that they saw, that I can make little notes to be remembered later. I put my little sticker at the bottom. Here I've created a pocket as I shop for my gift receipts. And that's our book. Now, here's the secret. Excuse me?
I need to make sure that I make a note in mine that says that Debbie doesn't want any presents this year.
Margie, did you hear her? I'm sure you heard her. Margie says she needs to make a note that I don't want presents under my tree. Only my stamped tree with the deer. We are making this beautiful book, my friends, out of envelopes. We're making it out of envelopes, and I'm going to teach you how to do that on Saturday. I'm also going to send you an additional set of envelopes that you can use for one of these other style books. I'll send you cardstock. It may be different than this. You can use the cardstock I send you, or you can use whatever cardstock you like. But this one I haven't made anything from yet. Wouldn't this be just a really fun little pocket album, or maybe a memory album for somebody for a special occasion? Maybe something you don't have 50,000 pictures, like a graduation ceremony, or it could be for just a single birthday party, or it could be whatever you like, just a little mini album. Yeah, this could be for notes and things if you wanted. I just covered it all with background paper so that I could make a little mini album out of it, but you could make it in any way you like. Here's another one that I'm making. I have not put the pictures in yet. It would be really fun if I could have opened this up and said, here's Teddy's first year, but that's what this is going to be. It's made out of more masculine papers, and this is Teddy's first year journal. And I've got it in colors that I thought would look good with Ted's coat colors. This is made out of envelopes, my friends, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. I will send you the envelopes in case you don't have a huge stash of envelopes like I've got here. I will send you the envelopes. I will send you covering papers. Covering papers will vary from kit to kit, but I want you to know you're going to have enough to make 2 planners or albums, however you want to use them. But we're going to make our own little books, and these are remarkably sturdy little books.
Yeah.
because we're covering the envelopes with cardstock, we end up having heavy pages, and what fun they're going to be. So this is next Saturday's idea, and you're going to have enough to make this planner and one of these others. But I just wanted to show you some of the ones that I'd done. How did I end up with 4 of them? I ended up with 4 of them because it's really fun to make books out of envelopes. That's the truth. I kept saying I needed practice. In truth, I just wanted to do it. So I'll show you one other card that I have coming up. This is going to be a future class. We're going to be doing some cards where we are using our die cutting machines, and we are going to be using dies that cut a pattern in and show through. So aperture dies. We're going to use aperture dies to make cards, and look at this. This is one of the lovely cards we'll be doing. So we have so many fun things on the agenda for you. I'm back. I'm working to come up with fun, creative ideas for you. And so that's it for today. Any questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom before we go?
Alice wanted to verify that we're having a class next Thursday.
We are having a class next Thursday, Alice. We will be here. And I will soon tell you what that's going to be because I haven't designed it yet. But I will know
Tonight.
in the next day or two what that's going to be, and I will put a kit out there for you. I hope you enjoyed today. I had a blast. So nice to be back with you. Anybody else have any questions? A travel diary. That's a great idea, Alice. Really, really good idea. And the envelopes would come in really handy for tickets, mementos, little brochures, postcards. If you had made one big enough, with a 5x7 envelope, you would be able to put postcards and stuff in them. So that's really a fun idea. Okay, if there's no other business of the day, let me say goodbye to you for now, and we'll see you on Saturday. I'm Debbie from Simply Special Crafts. Love you. We'll see you next time.